Deep breaths.
You did breathe it all.
No.
That's Chris.
Oh, Kurt. Fucking hate when you do that. You trip me up every time. That's fucking Kara.
Every time I do it, you're like, I'm
A
Kara.
Kara?
I like to mix it up.
Where are the midnight fucking time. Oh God, we are back with a movie. Late Night with the Devil.
We watched this show on Shudder on a free trial.
Yeah, sure did.
Sure did. But it's also on Amazon, and AMC and Apple TV.
Yep.
It is a newer movie.
Yep.
It came out this year. Rotten Tomatoes, the audience and the critic scores were above 80, and I was like, the fuck did they do right or wrong? Because that never happens in a spooky movie.
Yep.
I will say, I've talked about this before, I don't watch trailers.
Yeah.
I don't watch them. I maybe will start the trailer and get like 15 seconds into it, and I'm like, is this intriguing? If I think it's intriguing, I'm like, okay, done. Yeah. I turn it off. I do not watch trailers. I feel like they just spoil all the good scenes. Mm-hmm. So I don't watch them. I go in blind. I like to have fun. Okay. I didn't go in totally blind to this one because of what you had said.
Yeah, I watched it first, and I do watch trailers because I'm like, okay, I'm one of those people that like to compare, like, was everything good in the movie just in the trailer or was there something different? It doesn't spoil anything for me. I'm fine with it. But yeah, I watched it first, and I went into it thinking it was going to be an actual, like, spooky horror like type of movie. To me, it was not at all. And so, like, I let her know, I'm like, lower your expectations. Just go into it knowing that it's not scary. Like, to me, not scary, like I would say for us. Like, it's just not scary. Yeah, it was still a good movie.
Yeah, like it was
like a thriller type.
Yeah, it was more like psychological, like thriller. Like, and then at the end, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. Which I still have questions about the ending. But essentially, it's this guy who's doing like a Tonight Show.
Yeah.
But it's set back in the 70s, so it's a throwback film.
I do love that.
They did it so well. The cameras, the lights, the stage, the clothing, like they're smoking cigs on scene. Everything was cool, and I like the way it was also filmed because it like starts at the beginning, like, you know, this was like an aired episode. Yeah. And then behind the scenes footage that has never before been seen. So when they're filming and like showing you the actual episode, the live episode, it's in color. Yeah. And then when they show you their backstage behind the scenes, it's in black and white. So it's very clear as to when they're live on air or not. Yeah. And they'll even be like, be right back. Like old school commercials. Yeah. And you're like, you know. But they start with a bit of a story about this guy named Jack Delroy. Mm-hmm. And he is trying to be like the next Tonight Show. Or like, it was the Late Night Show.
The Late Night Show.
And, you know, he's up there. He's doing pretty well, but he just can't get that number one spot. Yeah. And then it sounds like he went to the Grove that we hear about on TikTok, where all those like politicians, you know, like the elite, the society, you know, they go to this Grove, they sell their soul to the devil to get their fame and their wishes. Like, I think anybody who has any sort of social media understands what we're talking about. Yeah, like
that's the whole like Illuminati.
Yeah, like we don't know. But like,
but it's not like the talk.
Like, I mean, people have photos of it. Like, we know where the location is. Like, I'm just like, So I thought it was cool that they start this movie with background like that of like what the Grove is. Mm-hmm. They talk about like a few different cults. They kind of like give you a ton of information. Yeah, and then they give you this one episode that aired to make history. Yeah. His wife has died. and he was like off air for like a year or something.
Yeah.
And then decided to come back and wanted to like have the night of his life, get them ratings up. It's fucking sweeps week. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
That poor cast, man.
Dude. Like.
So, he first brings in Christou, and he is a fraud. He is like
Christou.
Yeah, the first like mind reader where he's like,
yes,
is there a Pete? A Peter? A Peterson? And some guy's like, my ex-wife's maiden name is Peterman. And he's like, oh yeah, she's crossed over, right? He's like, you could say that. She left me and the kids, but like my golf game's never been better.
Yeah. Like one of those like just trying to pick.
It's more of like the like I can figure it out if you give me enough information. Yeah. It's like process of elimination, but done very well, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So they bring him on, and it's kind of clear he's a fraud. But then he like at the end, he's like, "There's a mini. Like somebody accept, like accept the call." Like what? That was funny though. He's like, "Somebody accept."
Like he's freaking
Dude, like
out.
The lights are fritzing and shit, and he's like, "A man. An unmarried man with a wedding ring. Please accept." And they cut, they go to commercial. And then they bring in Carmichael or Carr. And he's over here like, I'm going to like just fucking throw Christou under the bus. Yep. Everything he did was fake. I'm going to tell you how he did it. But in the meantime, Christou's like, he's sweating. Dude, he don't look right.
No.
He looks sick. His attitude is changing. He used to be like fun and bubbly at the beginning. And then all of a sudden he's like, leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Whoa. And then, dude, like, Carmichael's just like, he's a fucking liar.
Just ripping him a new one.
Dude. And all of a sudden, Christou's like about to leave and falls and just projectile exorcist black vomit all over this Carmichael guy. And I was like, that was fun.
Yep.
So you're kind of like, what's going on? This is interesting. And they bring out this author who's like had wrote this book on the girl named Lily.
Right. Well, she's also like
Conversations with the Devil.
Psychotherapist or something like that.
Yeah, she
like...
described herself as like a psycho-scientist therapist where they like deal with psychology and therapy in like the paranormal aspect. And like her explaining this in like the time frame of the 70s is even more wild than trying to like understand it now.
Yeah, because she brings out Lily with her, and Lily, they saved her from like a cult
where what was the name of the demon that they tried to like in that cult? He had a specific name.
She calls him Mr. Wriggles.
Mr. Wriggles.
Yeah. Or Mr. Wiggles.
Wriggles.
Wriggles or Wiggles?
He wriggles in and out of my brain and wriggles out.
Right.
Yeah, and closed caption told me it was W-R-I.
Oh, okay, perfect.
I love me some closed captions.
Yep. How am I supposed to hear it when I can't read?
When it's like demon growls.
Oh,
and you're like,
yeah.
I don't see one on the screen, but now I know there's one out there.
Yes.
So she brings in Lily. She's been like in this cult, and they've been like sacrificing children in this cult for some sort of deity for quite some time. And then it's like on the news that like she gets saved from the cult, the cult's taken down, whatever. And so she's going through therapy, and that's why this lady wrote this book, and that's why they're on the talk show. So
all the things
they give you good like enough info that you're like, okay,
like enough for like on a late night talk show, like what they would be doing,
what we're talking about, right? So they bring her on, and they're talking about the book and what she does, and you see Lily, and she's like,
I'm happy I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Into the camera. It's super weird though. And she'll be like they're not like, you know, they're talking like you would be talking on a show. And she's like, thanks, Jack. But she's staring at the camera. So and she's like, he's like, you can look at me. And she's like, and he's like, cameras are off. And she's like, which camera should I look at now, Jack?
It was weird.
He's like, none of them.
Yeah.
And then they pan the film, and she's like staring over her shoulder while he's getting his makeup. And I was like, you don't look right, girl. And so then, to make his show even better, right? he's like, let's try to talk to the demon inside of Lily. Like, let's have June get it out. And so they set up 2 chairs and the demon comes out. Like, Lily's face changes. And again, it's not like,
yeah, no. It's like how The Exorcist was. Like, it's just like how...
Yes, it's very thriller vibe. And it's like, she's like, what's your purpose? And it's clear that Lily and Jack have some sort of bond, even though they've never met. Or the demon. The demon's like, Jack's here. Yeah. And he's like, he talks about like the time amongst like the tall trees to Jack. And this is on like live air, right?
Yeah.
They're cutting to commercials like frequently because it's the 70s. Like, we didn't have what we could do now.
Yep.
Then you've got Carmichael. He comes back and he's like, nah. That's fake as fuck.
Yep.
Let me show you how she did it. She basically hypnotized this girl.
All of that. Well, I mean, even when she was talking with the demon and everything, and they were talking about like how levitated, number 1, and 2 was talking about things that were going on between Jack and June
that nobody else knew about.
Yeah.
Because what was it? Well, Jack and June went up the hill to fuck each other's brains out. That's what it was. Jack and June went up the hill to fuck each other's brains out. And like she's saying it on like live TV in the 70s. And you're
like that's when they got shit back together.
No!
You're like, oh my god. Okay, cool. But then Carmichael's like, all this was hypnotized. I can show you.
Yeah.
Like exactly what happened.
And they have all like, before he does it, they have all like these like props out from the house that Lily was in, like the sacrificial bowl and like knife, like dagger, and like other items are just out on the table, right? So Carmichael's like, nah, it's fake. And like this part, I don't want to go too deep into because this is where the movie went. What?
Yeah.
He essentially is like, she did group hypnosis. She did a mass hypnosis on everybody.
But like, how? Because if you're watching her doing it, like she wasn't holding anything up or whatever. So I was like, how is this a hypnosis?
Because he's like, let me show you. He does the watch. He takes a lot of extra time, like somebody who is trying to be hypnotized would.
Yeah.
Take the time to calm, close your eyes, get into the breathing. Where she was just like, Lily, close your eyes.
Yeah. And when he was talking about this, after that whole scene happens, because that was an intense scene. Like, I thought that was great. But it still showed him using the watch, blah, blah, blah. And then it comes back like, oh no, he was able to hypnotize everyone. I'm like, okay, cool.
But that doesn't prove that this was wrong.
Yeah, but we didn't see June do that. But then it got me thinking, okay, well, did she just hypnotize you to not remember that part?
Well, remember, because Jack's like, let's play the tape.
Exactly. That's when that happens. It's like, okay, you can see everything that Carmichael did to Gus. Like the side host.
Yeah, he's like the side host. Yeah. He just like the guy they pick on.
Yeah.
He is the one who Carmichael is hypnotizing when he does a group hypnosis. Yeah. And he's like, there's worms coming out of your belly. He's like trying to like get them out. But then
he starts on like the neck and like all these worms fucking come out.
Because you see it from like if you were hypnotized point of view. So you're seeing it how like if you were hypnotized at home through the screen, this is what you would be seeing.
Like the worms fucking come out of his stomach and shit.
Yes. Like, and then they roll the tape back and they show you what actually happened. And you're like, oh.
But then Lily is like, well, let's
roll my tape back.
So that way we can prove. And then the tape rolls back and it's real.
It's real. But then what happens from there?
Yeah.
Even watching it twice, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I would love to hear somebody else's input on what happened. Because, I mean, essentially, like, they play the videotape back and then it's just it's strange the way it happens because she like Lily gets like upset and is like very emotional and like surges through like the lights above and then like the TV in front of her.
Mr. Wriggles comes back without being like summoned.
And so like it's clear he's going like through the electricity and then through the TV screens. But then we see a bunch of like film of Jack in like previous scenes, but he's like confused and they're like molding together. He's like seeing his dead wife. He's like seeing scenes he did in the beginning. Like And he's like, where am I? Like,
yeah.
what is what? Like, and he's like, stop watching the TV. Turn off your TV. Turn off. And I'm like, what's going on?
And like, you see her face is like just fucking.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
and at one point, her head splits open and like,
I was like, oh!
Dude, Chris was like,
yeah! I was like, oh my god, okay.
And the first time I saw it too, I was like, whoa! But like, that's when the movie goes, what the fuck?
And that's like towards the end of the movie.
That is like the last 15 minutes of the movie. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
All of these scenes happening, and then like, that's when you see Jack like going to the grove, doing all of like the ritual things like that, and then it just kind of like pops back.
And he's like with his wife who's dying, and she's like, kill me.
Yeah.
Oh, because I don't want to do this anymore.
And like, so, you know what to do.
In this state, he stabs her, and then he wakes up, and he's holding like the ritual knife, and he's like stabbed Lily to death. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, what is happening?
Was he like hypnotized the whole time? Did he never come out of it?
Yeah.
Was that what the demon Lily intended to do?
Mm-hmm.
Because she was like, you'll still be famous one day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how that ended. And I was like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. When it was done, I was literally like, what the fuck? Was that a blast? For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Do I need more info?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I still really liked it.
Mm-hmm. I think like you just have to go into it with a certain expectation. And I definitely thought it was going to go a different way. I thought we were going to get more of the possession, like from the trailer, things like that. But like, that's also why you don't watch trailers, because like it can be totally different.
Yeah.
But also from what I was reading and hearing about how it is and like what it was supposed to be set as far as like genre and like what to expect.
Yes.
Like I definitely was thinking of it in a different manner.
Yeah, like it's categorized as a horror movie, and I don't think it is.
Yeah, I felt it more psychological thriller in a way. Maybe the last 15 minutes can make it horror.
Yeah, but like that's it.
Yeah.
The rest of it's more like psychological thriller.
Yeah, like I get why The Exorcist is a horror, because that was the possession the whole time. But like this was like
weird.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wanted to see what the interwebs were saying about the ending, which is kind of the conclusion I came to, but it just happens so rapidly that you're kind of like,
yeah.
Jack is essentially forced to relive his past at the end of the film.
Yeah.
And it's suggested that the club was some kind of demonic cult, and Jack made a deal with the devil at the Grove. Okay. During his deal, he sacrificed his wife to ensure his show's success.
And like I got that feeling because she said, "You know what to do." You know what to do.
Yeah. But it was just really interesting. Like the ending was very odd. Like definitely blurs the line between fantasy and reality, especially like within TV and film.
Yeah. Could you imagine like if that like played out?
Dude.
Like, I'd be like, what the fuck?
What just happened? But I really enjoyed it. I feel like I had appropriate expectations, though. I'd give it like a 3.8 out of 5.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't like my favorite movie. I watched it twice.
It was interesting.
Yeah. I will say, like...
Fun parts.
There are fun parts, and like watching it the second time, I picked up, as usual, a lot more than I did. Like Carmichael, before he does the group,
like hypnosis?
Yeah, I was gonna say hallucination. I was like, that's not right.
I mean,
before he does like the group hypnosis, he makes like 5 separate comments about how suggestible they are, how gullible they are, how this will be like useful to him later. And so like another part of me was like, did he have this intent to hypnotize the audience the whole time?
Ooh.
And if so, why?
Yeah.
Was that part of like the devil's plan? I don't know. But like rewatching it the second time, I was really like hung up on like the foreshadowing that he did.
When I love like how he always had a check on him for 500,000. He's like, if anyone can debunk me,
like prove that spirits are real,
then you get this. And I remember like when Lily, Mr. Wriggles is doing his fucking thing, like towards the end, like fully
blasting out.
Yeah,
dude.
Like he pulls out. He's like on his knees praying.
He's actually praying to the gorge or whatever.
Yeah,
he's like, whatever you are, you can have my soul. Like, I'll give you anything.
Yeah,
you
pulls
want.
out the check and like she lights it on fire. You know, like
fuck your $500,000, and then she smolders his ass, and he turns to a pile of dust. And you're like, whoopsies,
whoopsie doodles.
Whoops.
Yup.
I thought it was fun. There was, there's more to the cast. But those were like our main characters. It was fun.
We love it because like Jack is played by David Dastmalchian, so David's back again.
That was a really good role. The acting in this was phenomenal from everybody. I bought it 100%. So, and I'm not a huge like throwback film person because like I feel like when you do like throwback or period pieces, there's a really big opportunity to fuck it up. Oh, yeah. With this one, they don't change locations. No, so I feel like it was really easy to do this period piece really well.
Oh, yes. So I agree. It's like, I love that we got like the background and them talking about like, we have to keep this going. We have to, like play this out, like all that other shit. And then like dropping that Crisco or whatever, like after he vomits all over the place, like he went to the hospital and like
he died
because of like all this shit, and like that just goes to play of like what actually was happening, what like Mr. Riggles was kind of doing. Like he wasn't a total fraud, and like he did bring up Minnie, who was Jack's wife.
Like at the beginning Jack even says he's like
I think this was for me.
Like to Carmichael, he's like that was for me. Only I called her Minnie, and I'm wearing my wedding ring. And Carmichael is like
blowing him off.
That's absolutely not accurate. He's like, and if it is, you were in on it. I'm like, I don't know, dude. He looks pretty shook up.
Yes.
He looks pretty shook
up. But
like
the fact, and like was it Jack's like producer, whoever running behind the scenes, was like just letting you know this is what happened. He's not coming back. He died going to the hospital. But
Jack's like, don't tell anybody.
Yeah, don't tell anybody. Like, we have to keep this moving.
Because the rest of, like, the cast and, like, the film crew is starting to get fucking nervous because, okay, mind you, they're speaking to a demon. Okay, one, that might make a lot of people uncomfortable. Two, it's Halloween. 3, it's the 70s. The cult explosion. The devil worshipping explosion. Like, they made it very real to like the people that were like, I don't want to be here. I am fucking leaving, dude. And like, like his producer's like, we just had 3 people walk off, and he's like, God damn it. Like, I just need them to stay for a bit longer. But I thought they did a really good job at like, I ain't sticking around for this shit, dude. Like,
I'm outie. I'm not dealing with any of this. So,
especially given like that time, this was such to try to do this on live TV.
Oh my god!
What a great idea, Jack. For sure.
I mean, that got your fucking ratings up.
You blasted Sweeps Week, I'm sure. But at the same time, it's like that's also a very like gutsy thing to do given that time frame. So
I agree.
But I thought it was good. I liked it. It's worth a watch. It's not like worth a pay, but it's worth a watch.
I agree.
So get your Shudder free trial.
Get that free trial.
7-day free trial. All right.
Cool.
We'll be back.
We'll be back. With some more shit. Ooh.
Bye.
The spooky unicorn.
She's spooky. She's my baby.
Oh my god.
Get her tail tucked in.
Thank you for listening. If you'd like to see more from us, you can find us on Instagram at The Midnight Babes Podcast and on TikTok at The Midnight Babes. Stay spooky, friends.